Once upon a time, in a land where the sun blazed fiercely over golden sands, a disciple traveled alongside his wise mentor. They were on a quest for knowledge, seeking wisdom from the far corners of the world. One fateful day, as they journeyed through an endless desert, a sudden storm swept in, obscuring their path. Disoriented and weary, they wandered until the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving them in darkness. Just when despair began to take hold, they spotted a faint light flickering in the distance. With renewed hope, they trudged toward it, their hearts racing with anticipation. As they approached, they discovered a modest tent, its warmth emanating from within. A woman stood at the entrance, her face illuminated by the soft glow of a lantern, surrounded by several small children. "Welcome, travelers," she called out, her voice filled with kindness. "Please, come in and rest." The disciples and the mentor entered the tent, grateful for the unexpected hospitality. The woman, despite her own hardships, insisted on sharing what little she had. She offered them a simple meal, and realizing their hunger, sacrificed her only goat, their sole source of sustenance, to ensure her guests were well fed. As they shared stories and laughter, the mentor admired the woman's spirit. She radiated warmth, and her children, though dressed in rags, were filled with joy and laughter. The night passed quickly, and as dawn broke, the travelers expressed their heartfelt gratitude before continuing on their way. However, as they walked, the disciple couldn't shake the image of the woman and her children from his mind. He thought about their humble existence, living with only one goat, and felt a surge of compassion. "We must do something for that woman," he urged his mentor. "She deserves more than this life of struggle." The wise mentor paused, contemplating the disciple's words. After a moment he replied, "If you truly wish to help them, go back and kill their goat." The disciple's eyes widened in disbelief. "But how will that help them?" he asked, confusion etched on his face. "Trust me," the mentor said calmly. "Sometimes sacrifice is necessary for true growth. You must do this to free them from the shackles of dependence." Though bewildered, the disciple had faith in his mentor's wisdom. Reluctantly, he turned around, heart heavy with the burden of his task. That night, under a shroud of darkness, he approached the tent once more. With a trembling hand, he ended the life of the goat and slipped away, guilt gnawing at him. Years passed, and the disciple often found his thoughts drifting back to the woman and her children. He wondered how they had fared after his act of sacrifice. Had they found a way to survive? Had they been able to overcome the loss? One day, while traveling through a bustling city known for its thriving markets, the disciple and his mentor were guided to a grand palace that sparkled under the sun. The palatial residence was adorned with beautiful tapestries and lush gardens, a stark contrast to the modest tent they had visited so long ago. As they entered, they were greeted by a woman dressed in luxurious attire, surrounded by servants bustling about. Recognition flickered in the disciple's mind as he realized it was the same woman they had once met in the desert. "Welcome, esteemed travelers," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with warmth. "I am delighted to see you again. Please come in and make yourselves at home." After settling in and enjoying a sumptuous meal, the disciple and his mentor approached the woman, eager to learn about her transformation. They inquired about her journey, curious to understand how she had risen from humble beginnings to a life of abundance. With a radiant smile, the woman began her tale. "Many years ago, after losing my husband, I found myself alone with my children and only a single goat to sustain us. When that goat died, despair settled over us like a heavy fog. We felt as if our hope had vanished. But as time passed, I realized that wallowing in grief wouldn't feed my children. We had to take action. Each of my children possessed unique talents. My eldest discovered fertile land nearby and became a skilled farmer, cultivating crops that nourished us and others. Another child unearthed precious minerals in the earth and began trading them, while my youngest explored commerce with neighboring tribes. It was a struggle at first, and there were many sleepless nights filled with worry. Yet, as we persevered, we slowly built our wealth. We learned to appreciate each small victory and relied on one another for support. Together, we transformed our grief into determination, and from that, we forged a thriving business. The disciple listened intently, a sense of understanding dawning upon him. The woman continued, "I realized that the loss of the goat was not the end, but a new beginning. It forced us to find our strengths and adapt. Each of us had to let go of something we relied on, our goat, to grow and succeed." As the woman spoke, the disciple felt the weight of his earlier actions lift. He understood that sometimes sacrifice is necessary for growth. He thanked her for sharing her story and marveled at the transformation that had occurred in her life and that of her children. With a knowing smile, the mentor glanced at the disciple. "You see, every one of us has a goat, something that hinders our progress. It may be fear, dependency, or complacency. To achieve our true potential, we must learn to recognize what holds us back and be brave enough to let it go." The disciple nodded, feeling a profound sense of clarity. He realized that his mentor had guided him not just to help the woman, but to help himself understand the nature of sacrifice and growth. As they departed from the palace, the disciple felt a renewed sense of purpose. He understood that life is a journey filled with challenges, but it is through those challenges that we discover our true strength. The experience of the woman and her children served as a powerful reminder that sometimes what we perceive as loss can lead us to greater heights. And so the disciple and his mentor continued their journey, each step forward enriched by the wisdom they had gained. In the heart of the disciple, the lesson of the goat remained, a reminder that embracing sacrifice can lead to growth, opportunity, and a brighter future. In the complex tapestry of life, we often find ourselves caught in a web of desires and aspirations that seem to contradict one another. Married people dream of freedom, longing for the simplicity of single life. Single individuals, on the other hand, yearn for companionship, believing that marriage holds the key to their happiness. Workers, fatigued by their routines, fantasize about the day they can leave their jobs behind, seeking the elusive joy of leisure. Meanwhile, the unemployed seek opportunities, often viewing work as a gateway to fulfillment and stability. The poor gaze wistfully at the rich, imagining lives filled with luxury and ease. Yet those who have wealth are often consumed by worry about maintaining their status, about their investments, and about the fleeting nature of happiness itself. In the world of fame, celebrities hide from the public eye, overwhelmed by the very attention they once craved. Ordinary people, conversely, dream of recognition and fame, believing that visibility will bring them validation and joy. In a world where black individuals sometimes wish for lighter skin and white individuals sunbathe to achieve a deeper tan, we see the constant chase for an ideal that seems perpetually out of reach. Yet amidst this whirlwind of conflicting desires, the essence of happiness remains startlingly simple. The truth is that happiness does not stem from what we lack or what we aspire to have. Instead, it flourishes when we learn to appreciate what we already possess.